Hello interwebs and welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be discussing something that's gotten me really excited, and I've mentioned before on other videos, but I haven't really been able to do a whole video on it, and that's the fact that I wrote part of a book. I did a thing that is tangible. Like, my name is, where are you? You know, you just think it'd be easy to find. Aha. Right here. There's my name. Right in a book. I did a thing. I'm very excited about it. So actually, this book is called Navigating Trans and Complex Gender Identities. And this was a project that I did alongside a few contributors, both named Ashley. They are academics that work up in Canada. And I know about these two researchers through KLB Research, which is a organization that does LGBTQ-related research and trans-related research, but I also just really enjoy them as human beings and love working with them because they are both phenomenal, fantastic people. Karen L. Blair runs KLB Research, and then her partner, Ashley, she's also the one who sort of headed our segment of this project and asked me to join in on making this part of this book. So what is this book? It's at least what is my part on it. It's a book about like several different ideas and essays and critical analysis and academic analysis on transgender and non-binary identities. And my particular contribution, or at least me with the two other contributors that I did our section with, was on transgender representation in pop culture, which is something that I've obviously, very able to talk about. I talk about trans representation in pop culture all the time just for funsies. And my biggest contribution, something that I'm very excited about, and I'm going to be doing a video on it at some point in the near future, is I contributed what I thought is a interesting framework, film theory framework on how to discuss transgender representation in film called the cisgender gaze, kind of basing it off of Laura Mulvey's male gaze, if you're familiar with that concept in film. Basically, the idea that women are often framed as the other by both the person making the film, the director or studio, the camera within the actual film itself, and then by the audience that is watching the film. It's always sort of seeing women as the other. And so my postulated theory is basically similar in that there is a cisgender gaze, a gaze that of an audience that is watching a film that is non-transgender. And again, this isn't necessarily moralizing or making a judgment on a cisgender gaze. There are benefits to it. There are negatives to it. I think more so than even a male gaze. Obviously, male gaze is much more detrimental to women. And while I think the cisgender gaze is very detrimental to trans people in a lot of ways as well, there are some benefits to it in sort of like able to discuss transgender issues and able to showcase transgender issues to an audience that may not necessarily understand them. I mean, the work that I do in many ways is kind of for a cisgender gaze. It's me making content for you who may not know a lot about trans issues. So there is a benefit towards, leveraging the understanding that the audience that we're talking to is non-transgender. But there are some negatives as well. And like I said, I want to do a whole video on the topic. Also, I wrote, part of a book about it. So there's certainly a lot of information and stuff to delve into. And, because it's me, there is definitely some Star Trek examples of the cisgender gaze that I use in the book. If you're at all curious about the book or, any of that sort of work that I've done, I would highly encourage you to check out the book. There's a link down below. I don't really get any money from you buying it. I think I might get some nominal stuff. I haven't received any money at all since this sort of thing happened. It was just a thing I did because I thought it was cool and I had some stuff to say. So if you want to buy the book, don't worry. It's not me trying to make money off of you or anything like that. If I make anything, I probably make pennies per book because there's 10 other contributors plus the publisher takes some money as well. So if you want to buy a copy of the book, it's down below. It doesn't really benefit me monetarily. It's just sort of cool to have my ideas spread and get out there. Also, I could probably, if you want to reach out and are curious, I'd have to talk to my contributors, but I believe we can just share the section of the book. So if you don't want to have a nice little hardcover copy of a Jesse Earl book on your mantle, which, who wouldn't? But if you don't want to do that, I can probably just provide you with a copy at some point. I may just release it on my Patreon publicly, so you can probably go to my Patreon page and find it. I'll look into that in the near future. So if you just want a copy of that section, totally there. The rest of the book also, too, is really cool. So there's some really great essays that I wasn't a part of that I also think are really well worth reading. So I recommend you get the book. But if not, I'm happy to share my ideas. And like I said, I'll probably be making a video on it as well. And I also want to make sure that I thank my contributors, Ray Ashley and Ashley Newell. They are both phenomenal people. And I just adored working with them and meeting them and getting the chance to do a project with them. So thank you to both of you for, if you're watching this video, which I think both of you, at least one of you I know regularly watches my videos. So thank you. I greatly appreciate you and for asking me to be a part of it. And hopefully I'm paying that forward a little bit by getting people to notice some of your work, because I think both of your work is phenomenal and I adore it so much. All right, well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get more videos like this, more discussions on Star Trek, more discussions on LGBTQ issues, more discussions on pop culture and what we can learn from it, consider giving my channel a subscribe. And if you want to help make this channel even better, consider giving to my Patreon page or my PayPal. Every little bit helps me be able to do this possibly full-time one day, which is really my dream. But regardless if you subscribe or give to my Patreon, I'm just glad that you stopped by and hope that you, as always, live long and prosper. And special thanks to my commander level and above Patrons: Eli Berg-Moss, Stephen Schuthart, Boyd and Marybeth Earl, Michael McGee, Lal Lindley, Wellington Marcus, Inar Sigurdsson, Marika Kwiechin, Munir Amlani, Mari Nekar, and Polly Mina.